Hi, good morning, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Sorry if I sound like that. It's a little knackered, my voice. I hope that, you can tolerate this for next couple of hours at least. I'll try my best as well. And hopefully my voice gets better with practice, the same way your trading will be. So thank you for tuning in. We'll start in another 4 minutes. So just checking in, thanking you for coming in early. I hope you can hear me loud and clear. This is not an AI or anything like that. If you can't hear me too clearly, let me know so I can make some adjustments. Obviously, my voice is a little different today, so I apologize if it's a little different than usual. Let me know, and I will try to. I'll do my best, as I say. Yeah, and likewise for you. Give me your full concentration for at least the next hour. I guarantee you will learn something, and hopefully be able to apply it this week on the trading floor. Now, the throat hurts a little, but thank you for your patience throughout the week. I think I caught a bug since last weekend, but it only got full blown only near to midweek. Around Wednesday, I started feeling really, really terrible. And so, on Monday I felt it, but I was still okay. And Thursday, Friday, I was just completely knackered, completely knocked out. So I appreciate your concern, and thank you for your patience as well, giving me a time to properly rest, and so I can be prepared for today and hopefully next week. I'm feeling a lot better now. Just the post flu. Well, you lose your voice. That's one. You've got lots of excess discharge in your respiratory system. It's just the tail end of recovery. But I'm much better. Physically, I'm feeling much more alert. So thank you for that. The problem with my immune system is that if I have to be with more people, and that's what happened over the Easter weekend, right? We had a large activity where we mobilized quite a big community to partake in the usual food distribution program that we had. So the food distribution program is a regular program. We do that every week. We are a key contributor to that. So because of Easter, we managed to involve a larger group to partake into this, creating more awareness. And that was where, I had to meet more people. We had to, maybe that's why. So I apologize once again. I shouldn't, but I apologize because obviously your time is very much linked to mine. So I apologize to you as a teammate, not because I've done anything wrong. And that's how we latch on each other and we get better, isn't it? So now we are going to start in another minute. And Discord members, please do not share the link. This is members only. Agenda for today, right here. I'll start, and I'll start this shortly. So just let me catch up with the comments. Keep your comments coming, so I know you're participating. I will glance through the comments once in a while, so I can just make sure that I am still firstly still being heard, and I'm not going too out of tangent, right? So keep me in check too in the comments. If you have any questions, relevant ones obviously, that I can easily explain. So you have to understand how to be swimming with the flow, right? So if you're requiring me to explain something that takes half an hour, for example, this may not be the best platform to do that. But if you want to highlight something to me that I can potentially talk about that, if I see the chance to, yeah. So you see how Q&A at a higher level works. That's not just literally questions and answers. We can do that in another platform, yes, but for a live training, or even in future, if I do live stream trading in future, live training on the trading floor, literally, you have to understand the momentum that we have to be. The cadence that we have to be at the same pace. So obviously, if I involve people who are not at the same cadence, then that will form a certain distraction. And that's how we filter people with the same values, people with the same skills, the certain level, the same cadence. And that's how we create, crystallize groups. We grow together. Now, obviously, nobody will be left behind, but at different stages, right? That's how we grow together and we get to the top eventually. So if you've been to expeditions, right? The people who get there first will always be waiting for the rest to catch up. You see, that's the point. We have to do it different stages. But we're always waiting for each other and helping each other along the way, right? So the people who are advanced in the party, right, the advanced party, we clear the way, right? We leave tracks, we leave marks, so you know that the navigation, you clear where we're going, you don't get lost. So you understand that's always how a team works. So it doesn't matter, we don't always have to get to the destination at the same time, but we help each other along the way, right? So, okay, we're starting now. I have not properly spoken, not even to my family, for a long extended period of time, so I apologize if I just run out of breath midstream. I'll do my best, yeah. I'll do my best. Okay, let's start. I'll start first with a run through, more importantly, the run through for the week. So let's prepare right now, make some good profits this week. And no surprise, isn't it? We retested the upper Bollinger. This was what I told you on the Discord server once we retested the upper Bollinger on Thursday. Now, this comes as absolutely no surprise. You have to understand how we came to this point. Sorry, give me a minute. Right, let's start again, right? Market left us big clues right here as we prepare for the week, right? This comes as absolutely no surprise. Once we retested the upper Bollinger, let's run through what happened throughout the week that we get to this point, right? So let's take a look at a 30-minute chart. Now, there are videos throughout the entire week that can chain up the plays, and you can find the links in the description below. Watching the videos day after day will help you chain up the thoughts, my thought process. So please do that, so that this training video obviously will make more sense to you. And as you catch on the daily thought process, you will eventually get more understanding and get better at this. So a big part of this week was understanding that beautiful breakout here, right? We talked about this many times, and I told you about this juicy liquidity at that 20-day moving average, isn't it? I mentioned this at least for 2 consecutive days. And the market was indeed very kind. In fact, we had a nested structure right here as well. Before I was unwell, I even told you that I was selling puts here. It's something that's in the money puts, if you remember that. I just want to check back. Which day was it exactly? 7th? Yeah. Right, so I talked about this multiple times. Right, so check back this. This is important, right? The timestamp is there. So you know exactly that when and why I was talking about this before it happens. So check back the timestamp, check back the end of day summary, or right here. Right, Discord members, you have to do this. So it helps you better in the understanding this. So when you understand that there is this liquidity here that was being built, the next thing you have to understand was that we were always in that buying continuation structure. Right? When you understand continuation structure, you will not be so quick to call the reversal. During this continuation, what did I tell you? What did I tell you about this? Do you remember? That was on 8. I told you, for context on big days, that is to follow the trend. Right? When you have relatively larger pullbacks, you have to follow the trend. And this is known as your continuation structure, because you're still buying in that green buying precision algorithm there. You understand that? The next thing that I told you was you have to be very mindful of some tapering algorithms. And the next thing I told you was to watch out for exactly the upper Bollinger. That's why we retested it. That was a clear target. If you remember this prior, remember upper Bollinger was still hanging like that, straight. I told you this will continue heading down because this is known as your supply overhang. You want to see the upper Bollinger trending down to a certain level. And I mentioned this particular level here. I mentioned this here, where there was a previous, where the bottom Bollinger was. Right, so there you have it. And once it started trending down, and once you see the bottom Bollinger plateauing, your 5-day plateauing, and starting to trend up, and you see how we bounced off the 5-day several times. 5-day crossing above your 20-day moving average, and there you have it, we retested the upper Bollinger again. I want you, and I have videos every day running through this thought process. Discord server, end of day summary, every single day, running through the trade processes. You can literally watch the videos, run through the trading day analysis, and learn every single day if you want to. This is a month worth of trading thought process that is archived, not just in video, pre-market, but also during the market opening and post-market debrief. When you can combine all that together, you are practically you're able to learn. Imagine if this is 1 month's worth, you have to literally wait 1 month. But if you have 1 weekend, you probably can study everything together. That's the beauty of having archives. So this is what they mean by reviewing and studying And sometimes you call it back testing. Fine. I don't really like that word, but if this is back testing to you, then do it. When you can understand that better, you have a deeper understanding of my thought process, how it happened in the market. And we are not predicting. And from there, you are able to learn how to manage your risks and understand how to be managing the market movement and preparing accordingly. Now, when you can understand that, you will become a better trader. Naturally a better trader. So understand this, please. Very important, how we got here in the first place. And the next part I told you was to be worrying about tapering, isn't it? You see that? Do you see that? Instead of green that's buying, I told you watch out for the orange. Go watch the videos. See it for yourself. Do you see orange buying now? And I told you if you are going to dump, watch out for the blue. Are we dumping? I don't know. But the news seem to be like so. But I want to bring out the key liquidity that you have to focus on for this week. All right. Now, the key liquidity for this week is very important. Let's talk about that here. Now, for Friday, I missed this because I wasn't trading on Friday. But do you see the dual algorithms here? I'm just going to retroactively just draw some algorithms just for reference. This may not be accurate, okay? But I want you to see it for yourself. And do you see that? Right? Now, if I were to translate that in the 30-minute chart, do you see the dual algorithm here between your orange? Right, so orange was here. And then we started having a dual algorithm set up here. Do you see that? Do you see that's a bear flag that could be happening? Now, I don't know what's going to happen, but obviously the market was ready to control the buying for a sell movement here. If you understand what I'm talking about here, you've been watching enough videos, that's great. We somewhat are already speaking the same language. So this is it, right? We're communicating with each other. If you're trying to learn from me, you have to try to learn the language that we're speaking to each other. It doesn't matter if you miss this, right? Maybe it happens, maybe it's not, because there are plenty of ways to grab this liquidity, right? It can go straight down because of this orange. So this can happen, obviously, right? It can already have built liquidity on the way down, so green on the way down like that. Doesn't matter. If it's insufficient liquidity, it can even re-grab the liquidity like that and sell in the green before it sells in the orange. So you understand the concept of liquidity is not about predicting. It's about understanding where the liquidity is, so you're always prepared and you understand your risk to reward, so you always maximize the potential of your trade. That is skillful. That is what real traders should be doing. Not predicting, not gambling. Right? You see all the predictive market things that are out there. Those are to fool the retail traders. Those are to fool the people without skill. They want to capture 90% of the people who don't have skill as part of liquidity, so the 10% of the people who have skill will be making money. I want you to be that 10%. Right? So the predictive market thing is terrible for society. But it's good for you and me if we learn how to be more skillful. More liquidity in the market, as I always tell you. So it doesn't matter. Let's see how the market opens, right? Obviously, there's the immediate open at 6 p.m. later. And then thereafter, there's the pre-market where Asia opens, where Europe opens, and then where US market opens. So there's plenty of cycles where the liquidity can move. So don't be too concerned with that. As I always teach you, you will be able to find profits in the charts when the market opens. That's what we're training for. And that's what I need to prepare you for now. All right. Now let's talk about this first. If this dual algorithm setup works out immediately, right? And you will realize that if you learn how to do this, it will be applicable for you regardless of pre-market, after hours, or even during market. You can trade this on the futures market if you want to. It's going to be the same idea, right? And so many futures traders, right, especially if you're prop trading, you are benefiting from this. And that's what we're going to do, right? Make sure that we, that was the original plan, that I want you to make as much money as you can from all these scamish companies. Right, that's what we got to do. Allegedly. I have to be very careful with what I say now. Now, if this has continuations immediately, right, let's say it starts selling in that orange or the green, that's fine. This is known as continuation. If we open below, then you look for continuation. You understand that? Then you see if there's continuation structure. If it continues to sell in that orange, or even ideally in the green, if it opens even redder, then you have to see if it grabs the liquidity from this blue algorithm here, right? Especially off that yellow 675. So pay close attention to that. See if there's continuation structure, it continues to head down. If it goes even further down, you're prepared, because if it breaks even this blue algorithm here, 5-day moving average, close the cup, wait for 5-day retest, and you have an inverse cup where they have soaked up all the buyers for another leg down here. A very strong negative catalyst will grab this gap, but once again, not all gaps are closed, especially on the way up. Not all gaps are closed. If you truly want to check historical gaps, plenty of gaps in the 200, 300, 400 ranges for SPY. Plenty. Unclosed, even up to today, and forever they will never be closed. So whoever is telling you that all gaps must close, no, it's not true. It's not true. Okay, so I don't know if this will close, but you prepare, isn't it? And, you know, I enjoy this gap only because of one big reason. Because your moving averages are all within the gaps. Now, if we do sell, 5-day will start trending down within the gap. Your 20-day will start to trend up soon, in another couple of days within this week, and it will be in the gap. Your 200-day moving average is firmly in the middle of the gap. So this gap is going to be full of liquidity, and that's great. Uncontested liquidity in the gap. So they become very, very beautiful targets if we do have continuation days. Now keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. What does that mean? It means that if we have trend days within this gap, the moving averages are beautiful, beautiful targets. All right? So look forward to that if it happens. Keep it in mind. Okay? So don't be worried. If it wants to dump, if it wants to close the gap, it's plenty of time, plenty of opportunities to do that. So many, you can't wait to short this. Some of you I know, right? You have this mind, it's greedy. You don't want to miss it. I don't know why you think like that. The earlier you can overcome such mindset and start finding profits in the charts on a daily, regular, disciplined basis, the more profitable you will be. Instead of wanting to get in the action, wanting to get in the news, wanting to join in as part of the hoo-ha that's happening. No, don't be like that. All right. Anyway, there is a bigger liquidity here with the blue algorithm, right? And as I mentioned, by then the gap will already be closed. Your moving averages will already be tested with some very clear targets. And if this truly wants to dump, truly wants to head down, all your moving averages will turn into resistance, and you will see a structure within this blue algorithm here for the market to want to head down again. And if you take a look back in the daily chart, you will once again see how the 5-day will start retesting the 20-day again, because we have already retested the upper Bollinger. So this is possible, and this is acceptable if it wants to happen. And that is why I always tell you, a true recovery is when likewise, your bottom Bollinger starts reclaiming your 200-day moving average. And this is when you know the possibility that we break out from the highs will happen. Case in point, remember back then we had this, and once we break out of the 200-day, right, case in point here, take a look, the bull run happened, right, breaking out of that high which everyone thought was impossible to break, and we did it anyway. So don't be too concerned, because this is liquidity studies. Liquidity, the market has to be moving by liquidity. The market has to move with orders. That's just how it works. There's no need to be worrying too much about it, right? Obviously, we want to stake higher, longer term positions, something like 10, 20. Some of the institutions, they are, for example, like pension funds, right? They are planning something 20, 30, 40 years down the road. So obviously, they don't care what's happening now. They know that in 20, 30, 40 years, as long as they remain solvent, as long as they do not get margin call, which means they do not over leverage themselves, they can even position themselves to think that SPY is going to hit 800 or even 1,000. That's actually realistic on a scale of a 30-year time frame. So you must understand, different traders have a different perspective of how you're trading. If you're day trading, for example, you don't look beyond 5 points. In fact, you don't look beyond 1 or 2 points. 1 or 2 points a day is just what you need. If you're swing trading, and I hate this word, and I keep telling you I hate this word, because people don't know what they're doing when they're swing trading. They're just gambling on a larger time frame. And it's gambling with more uncontrolled risks, with less understanding of the dangers outside your zone of control. If you can't even control an intraday trade, how do you think you can control overnight action? You're not even hedging your risk or managing your risk properly. So no, I hate this word, hate swing trading. I literally don't want you to do it without understanding more. All right. Now, let's go back to the 30-minute chart here. So you understand the different liquidity areas you have to pay close attention to, yeah? Now, you have to prepare too if this continues heading up. Market hours, you don't know. Something can happen, right? And that's the thing. It doesn't mean that it's bad news now. Something good does not land in another hour or two. That's the beauty of volatility. Anything can literally happen. So as long as we are buying up in that orange here, this is buying continuation, whether you like it or not. It's a large range, but it's still buying continuation, right? So as I told you, as long as we are above the moving averages, right, you just have to be very careful that this could still be a buying continuation structure, right? Whether it's buying, we continue remaining here, you don't know for sure, right? This could be like that, you don't know for sure. The market's not open, how do you know? So you just have to be patient instead of predicting, instead of hoping, right? Don't be hope trading, you're going to lose a lot of money. So watch out for buying continuation. As I mentioned, maybe we remain in this blue, you don't know that, right? So watch out for your moving averages as well. So level by level, algorithm by algorithm, plenty of levels to pay close attention to, right? And eventually, you do see back here, the green was building liquidity here on the way up, right? So we had that push here because of some positive catalyst here, but it was very limited by this tapering. So you see that people were already starting to sell here because they know that something was going to land. And you see this weekend it happened. Insider trading happens all the time, allegedly. So you just have to be, well, accept that it's a big club, but you and I were not in it. And I don't need to be in it. I don't need to be doing criminal things. I don't need to be in it. You and I don't have to be in it to be successful, to be living a prosperous life, living a good, wholly fulfilled, purposeful life, feeding our families, being loved and loving others, we don't need to be in that club, right? So doesn't matter. Let them do what they're doing. They will be judged in due time. So back to this, right? And when you have that sort of clarity and purity in your heart, you will be focused to do your job better. So I want you to be focused so you can do your job better. Can you do that? Now, just be careful, right? Especially if we do retest our moving averages here. There's just absolutely beautiful liquidity here. Now, along the way, when we do have like moves like this, I want you to be paying attention to all your moving averages, right? Because they will start making moves. Bottom Bollinger especially. If you see bottom Bollinger starting to trend up, for example, upper Bollinger trends up together with your 5-day, right? Remember, as I tell you, this can happen, isn't it? So as long as it's above the 5-day moving average, you have to consider this possibility. Before that, you have to prepare for that. Doesn't mean that you ignore and neglect it just because you don't want it to happen. You see the difference between someone who knows and is skillful and someone who's just delusional. Can this happen? I don't know. It may. At this point, it's still above 5-day. Market's not open. You have to prepare for the eventuality of that. Yes. So there will be clues accordingly if the markets retest firstly the moving averages, and you have to identify very importantly your liquidity here and how strong is it selling. I want you to look at the selling that has happened prior to all these. Now, pay close attention to this. We were generally selling in the magenta then. You notice that, isn't it? It's not very strong selling. A magenta like that looked like this. This was magenta. It's strong selling. We lost about 60 points in a month. That's huge for SPY. But if you see it in this case in the 30-minute chart, if you've been trading with me for a long time, magenta is not that strong. Magenta sometimes is a bullish control. But you see that it's generally selling in the magenta. So magenta, it's the dominant algorithm, but it's not the algorithm that will make you money. Right? What will make you money is this. You see orange is selling in the midst of it. Right? You see intraday orange is selling. Intraday orange is selling. Intraday orange is selling. Even better, sometimes within the mornings, green is selling. Green is selling. Green is selling. Yeah, look, green is selling. These are all our money makers. You remember, we make the money with the green algorithm. Remember, look, here, green. These are when we make money. But generally, in that magenta. So magenta is to help me with my writing options. You know, I use that understanding. And that's why I keep teaching you about dominant algorithms. When you understand the dominant algorithms, right, you can use that in your longer term strategies where you can manage your risks with more control. For example, writing your options. If they are covered, you literally have all the ability to manage the risks, right? Because they are covered. The word covered literally means that your risks are protected. So obviously, if you want to take on more risks, you take on more leverage. Right, you increase your leverage by increasing your risks to rewards. So all these is just a way of calculating. So back to day trading. If you can't even calculate your risk to rewards in the extremely controlled environment of a day trade, how do you think that you can manage your risks in a larger time frame like a 60-point range? If you can't even do that in a half a point range. So this is why when you learn day trading from me, you understand that this is just the means to the end, right? You are actually refining your skills to a very precise level. So when you apply it to a larger time frame, when you actually accumulate wealth and you are actually taking proper trades an investor would do, managing your assets and literally maximizing your assets for income, you realize this is a piece of cake. This is a walk in the park. This is a piece of cake. All because you have already mastered and finessed yourself on the extremely difficult day trading floor. Now, you don't have to be actually trading. You can be practicing paper trading this, right? Understanding the essence behind it so you can apply it in the larger time frame. All right. So just pay close attention because there is so much liquidity here. The market has built, tapering has always built liquidity. I mean, just take a look. The green has built such beautiful liquidity here as well, right? This can easily be grabbed, very easily, right? And obviously you wait for your macro liquidity indicators like this, your bottom Bollinger, as I told you, 5-day upper Bollinger, right to 20, and your 200, right along the wave this wants to go up. So I will not be surprised, right, if news land or we even grab this liquidity and then go absolutely ballistic. It's absolutely possible, right? There's so much liquidity here, especially the gap close. As I always tell you, if they want to play this market, the buyers want to buy it as low as possible, right? If bottom Bollinger can start catching up, will bottom Bollinger catch up? Let's see. Possible. You never know, right? Bottom Bollinger starts catching up to the 200 days. Not too late if it wants to do that, right? And absolutely possible. So don't underestimate how treacherous the insiders play this, right? They will want to obviously liquidate as many retail traders as possible so that they are able to fill more orders of theirs. If you understand trading, it's always 1:1. One buyer has to be equal to one seller, and that's how it prints on the market. So they want to liquidate as many people as possible. You have to understand how the poor and the rich works. So let me just do a very quick explanation about this, right? In a downtrend, what happens to the poor? The poor cannot sustain a downtrend because they don't have enough solvency. So what do? They are forced to sell, right? When you're forced to sell, you're also known as being margin called, right? Because most of the time you do not own the ability to buy. Today, I ask you a question. Do you actually own your ability to buy stuff? So today you buy food for your family. Do you actually own the ability to buy it? Most of you don't because you're dependent on someone giving you money. You see, you don't have the ability as yet. Someone has to give you the money, in this case, your boss or your employer, in order for you to feed your family. You realize that could be a problem because when the time comes, you are actually forced to sell. Now, when you're forced to sell, what's the problem with forcing to sell? You're forced to sell cheap. Do you realize that? What do the rich do? The rich will buy cheap. They buy it at a bargain. When you go shopping, you obviously wait for a discount. You wait for a sale. That's when you buy, isn't it? Why is it different in the stock market for you? You see, that's how the rich and the poor are. The rich will always have the solvency to buy at a bargain. So if it does drop here, if it does pull back, you will realize a lot of people will get margin called because they do not have the ability to buy. They don't have the ability to buy. And they're forced to sell. And guess who's going to buy at cheap? Yeah, you guessed it, the rich. So you and I, if you know already the game plan, then stick to the game plan and stop succumbing to your poor habits. You understand that? Your new identity is to prosper now, right? That's why we're together here. I'm trying to instill new values to you. I'm trying to instill new mentality to you so you stop wasting money every single day doing poor people activities. What do the poor do? They gamble. They gamble every single day. They gamble because they have this hope to strike it rich. It's hope. It's fake. Their hope, it's fake. It doesn't exist. But the rich, what do? They're skillful. They make money. They accumulate wealth. Now, how many of you still entering the trading floor like a poor person? Abysmal. No. Now you're a winner. You join our family, you're a winner now. You understand that? So snap out of it, right? There is a proper roadmap for you. There is a routine you got to take. There is a discipline you have to undertake. And you get onto the right path today. All right? So it truly doesn't matter. I truly don't care. I sleep very well in the weekends. It doesn't matter, right? So there are people that are just chasing the news every hour, just refreshing and just seeing what some of the key figures or the key opinion leaders are saying. What kind of life are you living? You're living for another person's comment. Does it matter? No, you're not living your life. Take back control of your life. Literally, you can control how much you make and lose. But if you just decide to place a bet, when the market is closed overnight, without hedge, without understanding your risk and how bad can it be, and then you're subjected to the waves of people saying this and that and this and that, what a torturous life you live. You can't even fully focus throughout the weekend on what you need to focus on, whether it's on God or your family or the people who need your time and attention. Why? Because you're busy scrolling the news. This is not the life that's victorious. This is not what trading is supposed to do for you. Right? Trading is supposed to do the opposite. Give you all the freedom you can have so that you can spend quality time on your true purpose in life. All right? So once again, second quarter of the year, you have to properly stick to it. Right? You have to realign yourself, recalibrate, repurpose, and come back to the trading floor. Like what I tell you, if one and done is what you need to do, just go do it, one and done. Right? Why are you forcing trades? Go practice on a paper trading account. Do that instead of wasting money. You can do better than that, yeah? Okay. Now, as I prepare you for the week, yeah, we're about there. Let's see where market opens. I will prepare you again just before market opens, so don't worry about that. Yeah. Now, this is just part one, preparation of the week. So thank you very much. I will carry on with the training video next. So just give me a 5 minutes break where I freshen up, especially lubricate my voice a little, and catch up on the comments. And then we will go to the training part 2 of this video. Yeah, thank you very much. I'll see you shortly. Okay, I'm back. Let's get it started. I want to run through the days that I didn't trade. Just run through them. How would you have approached them? So let's talk about Thursday. I will not talk about Wednesday. I think Wednesday I was there. Yeah, check the end of day summary. Right. Right. Once again, apologize for my voice. Truly apologize for that. I'm recovering much better, so if you're tuning in, thank you for your patience. Now let's talk about, this was Thursday, I think, yeah. Let's talk about Thursday. All right. Give me a minute. Yeah, as I was mentioning, so much discharge is bad. Okay, there we go. Now, let's talk about Thursday. It's quite straightforward. I'll just run through quite briefly. I identified the early algorithms here, right? So firstly, you see right heading open. All right, take a look at this. Now, you know who you are. If you're trading with this, something is wrong with you. Or you need to stop trading real money, right? Real talk, all right? Real talk with you. If you're forcing trades here, what are you doing? Right? We're talking about real money. I have to be very harsh with you, right? Because it's money you can help other people who needs it, or frankly speaking, feed your family. What are you doing if you're forcing trades here? Right? So at this point here, you do not trade this, right? Even though you have relatively large candles. Don't trade this, right? You cannot be trading this. Now in hindsight, can you see it for yourself? And this is why I always say inside candles, you can completely ignore it. All right, now, what you need to be doing at this point here is to learn to identify which algorithm is trying to control the liquidity. And this is when you identify the orange. So it's a very simple theory. If you cannot identify the algorithms, and therefore you cannot identify a structure, there is absolutely no trade for you. You're just guessing. It's very dangerous when you're guessing in trading. Why? Because when you're guessing on trading, you give yourself false positives. If you get a good trade, you think there's a certain reason you got it right, and then you reinforce that bad habit, you reinforce that wrong trading decision, and your next trade will get worse and worse. It will make you doubt yourself. It will make you cloud your judgment. It will make you demolish your foundation that you're building. So you have to always remember what I tell you. No structure, no trade, for good reason. It's not just about making or losing money, right? It's about building that foundation. That trading is very, very, very crucial to build upon, right? Your foundation is very, very important. All good traders have strong foundations, and you have to protect sacredly this strong foundation. Right? If you work in a bank, if you're in the trading desk, if you're in the top teams in these banks, they protect these foundations as truly sacred, right? And most of the time, it's that particular leader of that boss. They have a particular system, they have particular values, and they protect that person, and they protect that person's particular teachings very, very strongly, because these are foundations that will build a team. Now, obviously, they have dozens or hundreds of such people around. So to the bank in general, they are dispensable, right? Because they can't always find someone that's equally good. But that's how teams are fostered, and they're protected that way. That's why when someone leaves, the team goes along. That's how it works, right? Because that foundation has already been built. Now, it works even in sports teams. When a key person leaves, he brings along the entire team, not necessarily the star players, but the people at backstage, right? Literally the people who are creating the systems, the training structure, the nutrition, the back end people. The entire team goes along with the leader. Foundation is extremely important. It builds the team. It builds everything. So same thing for you. Now it's difficult for you because you're one person. You're literally one person, right? Yeah, that's the extent of the ability I can draw. I apologize for that. All right, I'll embellish it a little. But the point is, you're one person no longer. You're now a team. All right, and you realize as a team, the foundation is crucial. You build upon that foundation. You understand that? All right. When you understand that, you protect your foundation with everything you have. So you're no longer just trading like one person, your bad habits, whatever it is, right? You need to have a strong foundation and you protect it with everything you have. So in this case, as I was mentioning, you identify the orange algorithm. You know, hey, orange is buying, right? And by then, you would have already identified a magenta, which I added in here. And you know, okay, if magenta is in control, this liquidity will start being grabbed, but it'll be better if this happens, right? You already saw that coming. And you see how it bounced off magenta twice here. Absolutely beautiful. You do not short this until you see a precision trying to break out of magenta. And so you see that precision did break out of magenta here. Like that, nested right structure here. So you could have caught this trade here. Some of you did. Absolutely beautiful. Isn't it? Understanding magenta. This trade here is more than enough for you. For most of you, right? If you're scaling up, right, one and done, this is enough to feed a family. Literally for a week if you want to. So understand this, knowing how to be preparing ahead, right, for this particular liquidity here, instead of chasing going long. So once I identified the orange here, a few decisions you can make. Do I chase this long? Right, that's going to be most of your initial thoughts here. Do I chase this long? No, you don't, because you wait for who's controlling the liquidity. In this case, you want to see who's controlling the bullish liquidity. Now, don't be too desperate for one or two candles, right? Because if this wants to head long, you will see greater liquidity that's starting to build like that. You see that, right? I will address that shortly, because by then we would have already identified the pink. Once again, penny perfect, isn't it? So, if you didn't have the pink, you may be in trouble. But I always tell you, if you're a newer trader, wait for cups to close, because you see how magenta was still in control here. And when you can control, understand that magenta can still be controlled until you wait for cups to close, you will have a safer trade when the cups close like that. This will be literally a much safer trade, right? You do not get caught by surprise. Because you notice that orange started losing the strength here on the way up, right? So I would think, yeah, this could be a viable move if, firstly, yellow was not there. Secondly, if the pink was not there, right? And thirdly, if the magenta was in there, right? In fact, I saw how magenta was still in control here, right? We didn't have such strong buying here. I will be preparing for this move. Absolutely be preparing for that. So the point is very simple. If you don't see anything, there is no trade, literally no trade, until you learn to see something. So if you're a newer trader, right, if you're new to this, you will sometimes throughout the entire day not see a single trade. But on hindsight, you will see 3, for example, as you learn. And then you will see more And then on the live trading floor, you will learn to see it for yourself. Finally, you see that one trade. So the point is, it will get better for you. You will get better. So just be patient. As I always say, once you see it, you cannot unsee it. So don't be hasty. This is a lifetime skill, right? You're going to learn this and be able to apply this throughout your entire life. So don't force yourself to have to learn this in a couple of days, or even 3 days, 4 days, 1 week, 2 weeks. Now, obviously, your mileage may vary. Some of you probably have already very deep knowledge or been watching my YouTube videos for years. So we already speak the same language. So when you see certain things, you may get better understanding from it. But the point is, don't rush this. If you don't see anything, it truly, literally don't exist. In trading, you have to remember this. Even if you don't follow me anymore after this, you have to listen to this. Because trading, the worst thing that can happen to you is false positives. That's the worst thing that can happen to you. Listen to me, all right? False positives are winning too early, winning without knowing why. These things will destroy you. They will destroy, they will rock your foundation, they will become a virus in your life, in your entire trading career, and they will destroy you from within. So you cannot have that. If you're right, you need to know exactly why. If you're wrong, you need to know exactly why. And that's why precision in this absolutely matters. Precision absolutely matters. Not knowing why it happened matters too. Admitting that you have no idea why it happened and be actually fine with that. Right? And there are times where I completely tell you don't do anything. And even if it worked, so be it. Right? Because you don't want false positives. So you need to be in control. That's it. You just have to be in control. Now, obviously, there's a big move that happened on Thursday, right here, the big move here. And I want you to see that. You probably have already learned to see that. When we started going down, right? So you see magenta building liquidity here. Now, if you went long here, got stopped, that's fine, right? As I always mention, if you want to force a trade, you keep your risk low. Because if you get stopped out here, that's fine. That's fine. You keep your risk low. I wouldn't go long here. Absolutely not. Not with the pink here like that. This is very short liquidity. You want to wait for breakout and retracement, as I always tell you. Right, so, and the cup's not even closed. Magenta still possibly in control here. Right, beautiful liquidity built in the morning. Very dubious buying here without liquidity building. So, you know that these are signs that the market needs more liquidity before going long. And then you obviously see how pink was still in control here. Once we started selling in that magenta, right, there was precision. So this was money maker here, you know. And then this one's suspect. This one is suspect. Okay, I'm going to erase this so you can see it more clearly. This one is suspect. I don't like this. Do you notice how thin this structure is? Right? These are kind of moves that I hate. I don't, you know, on hindsight, this looks easy, right? But it's not. I tell you why. Let me, so I've been trying to experiment with this right here. Okay. There you go. Right. Someone was teaching me this. Fantastic. Now, this is what it looks like live. You hate it. You will hate it as much as I do. Because by then I would have already been out of my positions, right? And I don't want to chase this. And, you know, you see large red candles like that, you desire to chase. This is where your training has to come in, right? And your training will tell you, you have to see who's the dominant algorithm here. You already see that teal is trying to build liquidity. If this wants to go down further, at this point here, right? Especially when magenta was short, very, very small structure here on this continuation. This is not great. This is not a great structure here. So at this point here, you have to control yourself. Now you have to listen to me because we trade live. I trade live. You see me trade. I give you my trade entries. You understand that I know how you feel, right? Because I'm not doing this. I'm trading every day. I know how you feel. if I'm out of this and I see red candles like that on the continuation structure like that, I will want to chase this, just like you. But you don't. Why? Because firstly, this magenta is really, really short. This is not great liquidity. If, however, this forms like this, like that, much better, right? Because why? You knew teal was in control, and this will be your risk to rewards. This will be your reward with the smaller risks. Does it make more sense? Absolutely. So at this point here, what should you be thinking about? Now, if you're a new trader, right, you're impulsive, you cannot control yourself, you're just always telling yourself, I'm missing out. Crap, I'm missing out. I need to chase this. I'm missing out. Instead of actually preparing properly your profits structure, your risk to rewards ratio. What do you need to be thinking about instead of, I'm missing out, the market's dumping without me? You need to think, the teal is going to block it. Some way or another, there's going to be orders here at teal. So I can either wait for a bounce back before it creates more structure, before it starts having better risk to rewards, or I wait for it to break the teal and I see a stronger selling algorithm breaking out of the teal as my resistance right there, instead of choosing to short this right here. You understand? You understand the thought process behind that now? When you can understand that, you are in control of yourself and not letting the candles control you, not letting the market movements control you. All right. So at this point here, if you miss the short, in fact, it's better for you. You understand that? No, I made the same mistake here. Someone taught me to solve this problem, and here I am. I'm sorry, whoever that taught me this. Yeah. Oh, here we go. Where was I? Thursday? Yeah. I'm sorry about that. Someone literally taught me to not... Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. Okay, here we go. So at this point here, if you didn't short this, you were prepared. In fact, you could have even caught the long. That's even a better trade, isn't it? So sometimes missing the trade is actually good for you. All right? Yes. Yes. Thank you for acknowledging my age and my incompetency with technology. You'd be surprised, but I'm not as bad as as you think I am. But thank you for your advice. Okay, let's get back here. So how do you deal with this here? Now there's something I want to show you, isn't it? You notice that identifying the pink was actually quite crucial then. Now I am probably better than you at identifying the algorithm. So use me at the meantime. Well, I do, but it's not something I can actively teach you. I show you how it's done every day. That's better than teaching you, right? Because it's better than, as I always say this, people who teach you, most of them can't do. That's why they teach. You need to learn from people that are not teaching you. You need to learn from people who are doing it and showing you. These are the people you need to learn from in your life, wherever in your life. That's why they always say people who can't do, they teach. No, I am doing it every single day in front of your eyes. That's how you need to be learning. Understand that. Understand. If you have the ability to watch me do it every single day, that's the best way to learn. People record what I do every day, right? In the series analysis tab, people literally record how I chart the algorithms every single day, right? There are people who do that. It's out there, right? Yeah. Okay. That's how you learn. So I'm sorry if you think I'm not teaching you. I'm sorry you think that way. In your life, I just want you to remember that people who can't do, they teach. A lot of them are like that, all right? Just be careful of those people. What you want to follow are people who do, and you do it with them. That's how you learn and you surpass most people. Understand? All right? Yes. Okay. Now, so identifying this ping was actually quite crucial, because you notice not just it's protecting you at the top here, right, preventing you from going long. It also helped you. What was support turn into support here, right? Support. Regrab the liquidity here. What do you see? Tell me, what do you see? It's an inverse head and shoulder pattern, isn't it? It's so beautiful, right? You know what's even more beautiful? There is a precision algorithm that's guiding the buying up here. So this was such a beautiful zombie trade, if you can take this. Let's break this down. Right? Lack of continuation structure, right? Because this magenta was not deep enough, as I mentioned, right? The risk to rewards is not great. There is a support here. So this can actually help you in determining your risk to rewards too, right? So if you have a selling here, so it was still selling in precision. It still was. But once it stopped selling in precision, you could take a long here, right? Your risk is covered because you know that there is a TU that you can use to gauge your risks, right? So you could have a zombie trade here to go long. Once you're in here, you notice that, hey, pink is building liquidity. You're more at ease. By then, you would have already protected your trade. And then you see pink is defending the range. So you can increase your stops if you want to. You can raise your stops if you want to. Or you just feel more at ease because you've already protected your trade. You have a buying algorithm that you can use to guide and nurture your runners. This is as good as it gets. All because you didn't chase the short, because it lacked that selling continuation structure right there. Yes. Now, when you understand that, you realize that missing a trade is actually beneficial for you. Yes, very good. Now, the next one, which is this one. This is the trade. This one is beautiful. And by then, I'm no longer around, but you can use the same algorithms to guide you. Yeah, you do see a dual algorithm set up here again. Yeah, especially this. This is this is like that. Yeah. Do you see the dual algorithm set up here? Right, especially once we regrab this, buying up in that strong orange again. Beautiful trade. See that? Now, even if you miss this, right? Even if you miss this, buy here, buy then. I need you to understand and see where the liquidity is for the bulls and the bears. So when you can see that, it helps you even better. Do you see magenta? So how will this dump? How would you prepare the dump here? Probably here. Yeah? So you probably prepare to short if it comes here. All right, that's fine. So let's see if it rejects here anyway. But once it breaks out of that pink and it continues buying in that orange, why were you even thinking of shorting this? There is no sign of weakness at all right here. Right? So you see, once you are no longer staring at the candles and you're just using the algorithms to try to understand this, it becomes easy. Your trading decision becomes easy. I will not be looking to short here. Not until I return back to pink or retest this magenta here where the liquidity is here. You understand? And instead we close the spillover cup. And you've seen that happen so many times. It's spill over cup. It happens so many times. Right? Previous high has been taken. Penny perfect. Right? And we had this yellow for a long time. Penny perfect, right? It was the previous high and we bounced up the previous high twice. You can't short this. Why are you shorting this? You can't short this. If you're trying to short here from the zombie, you have to be protected by here because this is a key level right there, isn't it? Right? So understand that when you can see that happening at this point, do you prepare to short or go long? Tell me. It's a very straightforward decision. Yes. And obviously, if you miss this, that's fine, because after which you notice that there's always, the market's always building liquidity on the way up, right? It's always building liquidity before it starts heading up. Even without the algorithms, you can see it for yourself on hindsight, right? You don't have to chase this. You wait for the larger pullback, right? Without the algorithms, I'm not even charting anything. You can see this. Can you see it? Right? Bottom wicks, engulfing candle. Obviously, it looks better on hindsight now. I understand that, right? But you see me do it daily, on a daily basis. This is nothing new to you. Obviously, if you see this here, by then, there is a pink algorithm here, right? The same pink algorithm. You could have gotten along here. At around 1 p.m., this would still be a very good trade here, isn't it? You see, breakout, retrace, breakout here. This would still be a very good trade. But the only thing here was that it lacked that buying continuation. And by then, you would have already taken your profits, right? Before it started going down, this will be inconsequential to you, right? Apart from the fact that this was building liquidity, which may be useful. That you see it's happening now, right? That's where you have on the 30-minute chart. Right here, you see it happening now on the blue algorithm there. So this was the first time that we retested the blue algorithm, and that was on Thursday, right? And so you have already some clues working towards that. So I wasn't around on Thursday, but you would have already seen the blue algorithm that's being retested. And that's why I mentioned if there was a dump, right, you would see blue algorithm that may start to get involved. And you see the blue algorithm getting involved now with the confirmation on Friday. So let's see, market opens, right? Obviously, I want to clear a structure. I don't want to miss a trade, right? Just like you. But if you technically missed quotation marks the trade, you just prepare for the next liquidity level or the selling continuation if you missed the trade in quotation marks, right? So understand that. So when I run through it like that, does it help you, right, in your understanding? And, you know, it's not hindsight trading. You see me chart the algorithms. But it's algorithmic trading. You're not making your decisions based on the candles that move. It's very easy for you to just be thrown off your balance by the candles that are moving, right? Green, red, green, red, green, 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 red, 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 red. It's very easy to get thrown off balance. But when you start to see things in terms of algorithms, see things in terms of structure, right? You can be more patient because you are going to miss trades. Trades that you think you missed, right? Let's see. But they truly don't matter. So, for example, this large green candle here. No, that's not a good example. Let's see. If you missed one candle, like, okay, let's say you missed this large candle. That truly doesn't matter, right? If you missed this large green candle, I mean, this is a great candle if you caught it. But it doesn't matter because the move after which is even more than this. And this is algorithmic because you can see there is a guiding algorithm to help you nurture your runners. Comparably to this, which is, if you catch this, great. If you miss this, you can't catch it back again because it literally happened in 1 minute. So you cannot be living for trades like that. You may get it once in a while, and it feels good. But once again, it's that false positive. Feeling good will make you destroy your foundation, more than, as we grow older, we learn to do what's right, not learn to do what we feel good about. You see the difference. As you grow older, you will do more what you think is right compared to how it makes you feel. Right? That's when you're taking on more responsibilities. Right? You're giving more purpose in your life. You have more duties that you have to fulfill. That's part of being an adult. This candles like that destroys your very foundation of trading. If you catch it, great, protect. In fact, if you caught this, you should have protected immediately within the candle. Like I always tell you, your refresh rate. Remember, a refresh rate, what your eyes can register in the 1 minute chart. This is it. You have to protect it then. Okay. If you cannot handle this, yes, like some of you shut it down and you go enjoy your life. But otherwise, you stay focused. You see, you still can catch very beautiful trades. This is twice the amount of this. At a much later day, at a much later time of the day, this is greater rewards than this. Believe it or not. And it helps that we got to the upper Bollinger, I think. Yeah, this was the day we got to the upper Bollinger. Yep, that's it. Clear target, upper Bollinger. You see, we had a clear target. So if you caught this trade, you had the precision guiding you, there was a clear target. You notice, it was trending up in that algorithm, the buying algorithm here, right? Until where upper Bollinger was near, they decided to grab the liquidity there. Clear target. Right, so you would have made good money anyway if you nurtured and stress-free runners there. And once it broke out of that in a stronger algorithm, this is when you take more profits too. Because this is a clear grab of liquidity. Right, before. And once we reach upper Bollinger, what did I tell you? Protect. I think this was the upper Bollinger retest, if I'm not wrong. Right, and you had to protect. And if you protect it, as I told you, on the upper Bollinger retest, you will sleep very well at night. Yeah, over the weekends especially. If this continues trending up, what's the problem? Because if it continues trending up, we will keep bouncing up the 5-day. You can always buy again. Yeah, you will always have that liquidity and the ability. If you get called away, you have cash now that you can put it back in the market because you have the skill to manage your risks. How is that a problem? You made your money anyway. So you have to learn to understand what you are truly doing when you're swing trading and managing your risks in your portfolio. Okay. Now, let's talk about... let me catch up on the chat and take a 2 minutes water break. And I want to talk a little bit about Friday. Right, so it's a little intensive today. I hope you don't mind. I'm just trying to make up lost time that when I was not around on Thursday and Friday. Give me 2 minutes. I'll be back. All right, I'm back. Last lap for training. Hang in there with me, yeah? Livers meeting next week. I will keep you posted. We have some good updates. So thank you for reminding me. We got involved with another refugee camp. So I'm waiting some updates for that. But yeah, well, I'll keep you updated as well if you're interested in the work that we are doing outside of trading as well. Let's talk about Friday. Now remember, trading is a means to an end, right? I want you to make money. I want you to prosper. But at the end of the day, I want you to use the money for that purpose in life, you know. Sending your kids to college, taking care of feeding a family, or whatever it takes, you know, helping the least lost. There is a reason why you will prosper, right? I want you to find that reason. And then when you anchor it deep, you lean into that duty, trust me, God will honor you. God will honor you. Anyway, let's talk about Friday. I'm hanging in there, yeah. So must you. Thank you for being here on a Sunday. All right. It's more relaxed. I'm certainly more relaxed on a Sunday. The market's not open. The candles are not flying around. I don't have to identify the algorithms. I don't have to be paying attention to too many things. So it really helps that having the training on Sundays. You know. How I wish I could do it live. One day maybe I will. Let's see how it goes. Anyway, Friday. Let's take a look. I was completely knocked out on Friday, so I didn't have the algorithm set charted. I don't intend to chart the precise algorithms on hindsight. I don't like to do that. So I will just chart some figurative, I think, for reference, some algorithms on reference, so you can understand the general idea of how to be trading on Friday, but not for the precision, right? It's just a general guideline. All right. Okay, let's go. Now, at the start, at the morning, right? Once again, you started selling strongly. You don't catch this trade. What you do is you identify who that seller is, because this becomes very useful information later here and here. You understand that, right? So you don't get greedy. Just because it started selling a few candles, you're like, I have to catch it. I'm missing out. No, you stop these sort of toxic thinking in your trading brain. No, you identify who that participant is. In this case, this particular person is selling at this rate. You know he will appear later if he wants to dump it, right? And you see it happening. You see it happening here. Right, so this is how you gather clues. So you gather clues like that. Now, thereafter, you notice that maybe the market was building some liquidity. I think you could have identified maybe a magenta here. Once again, this is not precise. I wasn't around. But then you realize that it's actually tapering instead of selling. So at this point here, you see that the bears, the magenta in this case, you cannot see the bears build liquidity. You can't see a clear structure, right? So what does it mean? If you can't see it, it means it doesn't exist. You understand that? Yes. So when you understand that, you know, hey, it's not the bears that's selling. It's the bulls that's tapering. And perhaps once the red candles come in, you can actually catch it if you want to. You see that, right? Maybe a little risky trade, but you know, some of you want to take riskier trades. It's up to you. It's risky only if your stop loss is too far away. How is this risky if your stop loss is literally at where the teal is? Tell me. It's not risky at all, isn't it? So I want you to learn to quantify the word risky. Okay? When you're starting to trade, you're too concerned with what's right and wrong. You look at trades in terms of a right trade and a wrong trade. But as you get better, you quantify your trades. Your trades become metrics. Green or red doesn't matter. They become metrics. They become numbers. You can literally quantify it to the penny of your risks. So how is this a risky trade if you probably took a very beautiful call here, even with the red candles? Right? Obviously, I will not take a call here. I used to, not anymore. Right? I'm taking less risks now because my trading style has become a little bit less risky after my very major surgery. Very bad one. I became slower. That's the truth. Yeah, I mean, if you were here in the earlier years, you would have seen me take very, very aggressive trades. You realize things has changed over the past. I became slower. That's the truth. So, yeah, but I'm still doing it. So likewise for you, when you can understand your risks, you know how to manage it accordingly, right? Trade at your comfort level. So anyway, you still could have taken a beautiful trade here on the break here, isn't it? Yeah. So this is beautiful. Now, thereafter, I want you to see. This is dangerous, right? Because this, I don't even know if it's level. Oh, wow, look at that. This is dangerous, right? Because it's very easy to consider this a cup close, right? It is to the penny. You can consider this a cup close. And that is why I always tell you, I don't like this. I don't like double tops. I don't like this. I like an overspill cup close. And let me share with you how you can understand this better, right? You have to learn to see cup closes as spillovers. You have to believe me, right? Because when you have spillover cups, and I've taught you this before, you're soaking up sellers. The point of cups and handles is about soaking up the sellers, so we clear the way for the buyers to break out of that range, right? So unlikely that you clear enough sellers to do this. So I don't like this. I truly don't like this, right? So this is a prime example why I always wait for spillovers. Okay. You could have caught the handle. It's still a beautiful trade, but you have to understand that if it doesn't break out in the precision, you have to cut it instead of assuming that it will be. Right? And at this point in time, you would have seen the liquidity here. I'm sure you have. Right? And once again, I'm drawing on hindsight, so it may look great here now. And I don't like it because I am capable of doing this live. So I don't like to draw it like that and think that, oh, I would have. No. I mean, I'm capable of doing this live. So I don't like it. I'm telling you I'm doing this on hindsight, all right? So it looks great. Yeah, it looks great. But I'm doing this just to show you that you have to learn to identify this liquidity here. Right, so you probably have, some of you. Let me see, how would I have identified the liquidity there? I probably have already identified the magenta here, and so therefore this becomes the possibility here. Right, we do not regrab the magenta, so I will not have shorted it here, because you noticed we do not build liquidity for this here. So this would have went up, right? We lack the continuation. Once we lack the continuation, and then we started seeing that green seller that you identified right at the morning, you knew, something may be up. And then we break out, we retrace that magenta, and the green continued. So you would have caught this trade. This would have been a beautiful trade here. Why? Because you identified the green seller right at the start here. Right, and there's understanding the magenta here. You know there's a failed breakout here. Yeah, and once you are able to identify the magenta, this actually becomes quite easy because you see we have not broken out the magenta at all. Yeah, so far, can you understand my thought process behind here? Even though I wasn't there to chart the algorithms. Yeah, the thought process, that's important. Yeah. So once you understand that, this becomes a very beautiful trade here. All because that precision algorithm. Now, as I always tell you, in days where the precision algorithm, in this case, the green selling appears, are good days. These are days where you have to make your money, right? Because it's aggressive and it's good. It's good money, right? You have to wait for precision algorithms to show up. There are literally days where the entire day no precision algorithm shows up, and that's fine. For those days, you set alerts and you just go enjoy your life, because those liquidity will turn out to be very, very, very important later on. And I think case in point was on Monday. I think Monday, right? I told you about Monday. What am I doing? Sorry about that. I told you about Monday, right? Where you don't have to worry about liquidity. What was I talking about? Was it Monday? Monday. I told you Monday. This was Monday, right? We were literally chopping. I told you, hey, don't despise it, because the market is building juicy liquidity, and you notice it. You see it for yourself. On Tuesday, we grabbed it, and it's a massive move, right? So never despise liquidity. You let it chop. You set alerts. You go enjoy your day. We will catch it anytime anyway. Okay, let's go back to Friday. So you see, you learn lessons throughout the week, the key lessons. I want you to see it for yourself, because I can say it, but if you don't experience it when you trade together with me, it will never be deeply embedded in your heart and in your mind. So when I show you how liquidity building without precision algorithm, if there's no precision algorithm, there's just no trade, right? I can tell you that, but you will just cast it aside. You will just brush it off. But when you trade with me and see it for yourself, it impresses you, and you will never forget that lesson. That becomes a key lesson in your trading repertoire. You understand that, right? So I want you to have that sort of experience, that sort of key learning lessons. And once you see the last green happen here on Friday, so this guy, this green guy, this person, this institution, whoever that is, this will be the person that's involved in selling this. So you already know it's appearing here by noontime. And if it doesn't appear again, you appeared one more time here and stopped. If it doesn't appear again, one more time here. If it doesn't appear again, you have no trade. And you realize by then, right, you would have already charted that beautiful yellow or magenta, whatever the color you choose it to be. And you realize that there is just absolutely no trade from here, because it never broke range. So you would have set alerts here and set alerts here, like I would, and you went on to enjoy your day, because that green precision algorithm never appeared. But yet, this is the liquidity that turned out to be that blue dual algorithm here, that I suspect will be very useful when market opens at 6 p.m. later. So you see, don't despise liquidity. When there's no trade for the day, it means it's building up for a bigger trade later on. All right? And so it's absolutely all right to not put in a trade. You probably learned somewhere that you have to force a trade. I don't know where you learned that from. Right? There are many places with absolutely bad habits, false positives, poor reinforcements of your bad habits, and just absolutely wrong teachings. Now, as a teacher, now I have a duty, right, as a teacher. You know, we are judged very harshly by God. God has different standards for teachers in the Bible. False prophets, teachers, we are held to a different standard. So it's taken so lightly today because of YouTube, of the type of mediums that are the channels, the availability of teaching platforms. everyone's trying to teach something, right? And they fail to see that type of harsh standards that they will be subjected to when the time comes. I just hope that we treat this seriously. It's one thing to do it wrongly, right? But it's another thing to teach someone something wrong. It's bad. It's bad. If we do that wrongly, we are actually creating a net deficit in the world. We are not making the world a better place, because unlearning and then relearning is always harder than actually learning fresh. The unlearning becomes hard. So when people teach the wrong things, teachers used to be so celebrated, educators, they are celebrated, they are respected. But today, they are the lowest paid professionals. They are completely despised by so much of society. And who gets celebrated? Actors, actresses. All due respect, I think the art is respectable. But there are actors out there that just completely overrated. Completely. Getting paid too much and getting celebrated too much. Look at how the society has turned out to be. It's a net deficit now. So anyway, you and I, we try to make this place a better place. Yeah, we try to make the world a better place. We try to make this society or the community we are in a better place. So just be more mindful. Have guard your hearts and guard your minds. Right, the people around you, if they're learning things the wrong way, you have to guide them back in order. So just be careful, because this entire economy or the world that we live in is about misinformation. Misinformation creates division, creates monetization. My son was just teaching me about rage baiting the other day. He said you should rage bait. It helps you get views. What? Something is wrong with us, I tell you. Something is wrong. No, we can't do that. We can't be doing that. This is not right. Yeah, anyway. You get my point. All right, understand Friday? Most of the time Fridays, you just settle, let's go enjoy a day. I tell you a tip about Friday. When the big boy has already appeared, I always make this joke on Fridays. If you check out my chat history, I always say the intern has pressed the button and they have gone off. They have knocked off from work because they have done their last bit. And that's why you see aggressive selling, aggressive buying, right? They have just pressed the button and they're done. They're done for the day. And that's why you always see whenever there's a big move, well, relatively big move, and in this case, I define the big move by the precision algorithms. The market starts chopping from there. You can absolutely still make a final 30-minute trade. I didn't take this trade, so I can't tell you it will surely work. You see, that's the thing, right? If I don't do it, I'm not going to tell you that it's possible, right? I can give you general guidelines, but I have to do it. If I don't do it, I can't properly teach you. And so it's important you follow people who do it, not people who just teach. Yes, trust me, it's easy to teach. It is. But to do it, that's the difficult part, right? So what I want to do is to do it and then explain how I do it. That's how you teach. So just be very careful when you watch videos on YouTube or whatever. Just be careful, right? Have a certain discernment. Okay, well, the last lap now. Just let me catch up on the messages and see if there's any urgent replies that I want to make, and I will call it a day. Thank you for staying along with me. Just give me a couple of minutes. Let me just catch up on the messages, and yeah. I'm still in the midst of organizing the training videos, but there's some people that have already posted very beautifully the I think Nano has already. Was it Nano or UK Champ? Either one of you. Thank you. You're always helping out in the, as with many of you as well, right? Too many for me to name. But I think someone has already collated the list of all the training videos links. I will probably do them too. But in the meantime, please use what they have prepared. Yeah, if you don't know what rage baiting is, just like I am, you are as old as I am, or even older than I am. Rage baiting is, well, let me try to explain what that is. It's trying to make your viewers angry so you elicit a response. And as a result, you create more engagement for your videos and it becomes viral. Am I right to say that? Right, so you're just eliciting engagement. Anger is engagement, right? Oh, that's terrible. So there are many people who are not genuine, right? On their videos, they don't mean what they do. They're just doing it to get your reaction. That's not great, you know. How is that a thing today? How is our economy, or how are celebrities being created because of that? Right, so that's not right. That's not right. And I realized, wow, you know, I did a little study on influencers. I hate to use that word, but yeah, apparently all the top guys or women, the top influencers, they are rage baiters, right? Not great. Yeah. Burden of, wow, that's deep, right? The burden of proof comment, that's deep. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. All right, I'm good to go. I'll stay on for another 5 minutes, right? Let's just chat a little bit. If you have any questions, you can. I'm paying attention now to the chat so I can answer you. Just another 5 minutes. I have time. I worry that I will crash in a bit, so let me try to sustain my last burst of energy before. Where do we go from here? It's the first part of the video. If you came in late, the first 40 minutes, which I may re-upload it in the main channel for the YouTube viewers, I will. That's a summary of how to prepare for the week. So yeah, I will get to that. I may re-upload it. I think I will do that. So give me about half an hour to edit it, and I will re-upload it. The first part where we talk about what's to prepare for the week. Yeah, I may prepare that. Wow, was it really? Rage bait was a word of the year. Wow, that's disturbing. Yes, absolutely. Thank you for tuning in. I truly appreciate it. I really do. Thank you. Your work will not be put in vain, right? We check in every day. We show up, even if it's just for a while. And if you're watching this later on demand, your work will not be in vain, right? That's how we do it. We literally show up and we be available, right? Back then when I was at work, even if you had nothing to do, you just be present, right? You be around your boss to learn something, right? That's what I did. I was just hovering around my boss, being available. So if he wanted to bring me to a high-level meeting, I was there and he could just bring me in. So that's what you do as a young person when you have time, when you have availability. I mean, what's the next best thing I could have done? Go home and sleep? You're a young 20-something. You want to do your best at work. You want to quickly learn as much as you can. No, you don't go home. You be available. You be present. You try to learn as much as you can. So you see, Obviously, it differs from your different life priorities. Some of you may have different priorities, and that's fine. But as long as you're clear what you want to do, and you choose the best thing to do for your life, right? So show up, right? Even if it's just for a while, you create that habit to do that. So you see, even when I'm unwell, I want to show up for a while if I can. If I'm physically able to, I want to be there for a while, because you tell yourself that you are continuing the habit, because habits once broken, it's very hard to pick up again. Don't underestimate that, right? And habits don't happen naturally. You instill it. So you create good habits for yourself. Yeah, sometimes it requires you to be in some sort of pain, but you do that anyway. Right, yeah. Yes, for the swing trading, credit spreads, deep dive, I can't open that to everyone because most of you will get lost. So this is the lowest hanging fruit here. Believe it or not, day trading is the lowest hanging fruit. People who start sharing your trades, right? That's why I tell you, you have to share your trades. If I know you're doing well, if I know you're accumulating assets, I can invite you into something that I think will help you even more, right? The proper training of how to be using your assets and using the wealth that you're accumulating, right? Apart from day trading. So you understand it's a process. You understand that it's a step-by-step process. You have to, and that's why I tell you, you have to quickly get the day trading out of the way. And that means trading less. That means paper trading or just learning. That's fine. But you have to get it out of the way. You have to learn it quickly, have some sort of finesse. If you can't even commute, as I always say, if you can't even commute 3 miles while day trading, how are you able to commute 30 miles and manage risk in a 30-point range? So you have to, I always with urgency tell you, you have to quickly get this done. Right. But like what I said, we are like an expedition team. Like what I said at the start of the stream, all of us will be in different stages, right? But the people who are moving ahead first, they will clear the way for you. So it makes it easy for you to come along, right? We will literally clear the path. So some of us, we are ahead. That's fine. We'll clear the path so that the others can follow easily thereafter. Right, so that's the thing. We are a team. We are not competing against each other, but yet you have to understand that it is a stage-by-stage process, that there will be people that are going ahead first, there will be people who are not, but no one will be left behind because we're trying not to do that. Yeah. Asia session, I do have some thoughts on how to trade the Asia session, right? I realize a lot of people like to do that post-market, after hours and pre-market. You have to trade the futures, obviously, right? There are big moves right now because there is a deviation, right, between the different global markets. So Asian market, European markets, and of course the United States market. There are deviation now because of all the trade policies, the tariffs, the wars that's going on. So you see a lot of movement because of that. So it looks like a confirmation bias now that there is always moves in the Asia session, right? But it's not always the case. So it is only because there is volatility now that you think pre-market, the market's always moving pre-market. Yes, because of volatility, because there's always movement. Money is shifting away from US into Europe, into Asia, out of Asia into US because of all the volatility that's going on right now. But generally speaking, the US has always been the world leaders in terms of the economy. So generally speaking, they will just follow how the US market moves. In the past, it's as simple as that. But it's not as simple as that now because of the volatility. It's not as easy because if you're trading the US futures, for example, during an Asia session, volume is really, really low. Your spreads may not be that good, right? And you may not get out of a tricky situation easily. And you may not have the time to last through that liquidity building. So in a regular trading hour, for example, let's say, I'll give you an example here. Let's see if I can conjure an example. Let's say you get into a bad position here, right? Let's say you try to short this. You average back here. You still can get out of here, right? Because there is sufficient liquidity within the trading hours. But if you were to trade after hours, for example, look at this. Let's say you get into a bad position here. You can never get out of this. You can never get out of this. Why? Because you will not get a good spread. You will not get a good spread. You will not be able to get out of it. You don't have enough volume. And if you're trading large contracts, you're even in deeper trouble, right? Because you will be the one you will not be the one calling the shots. You will not be the one that is asking for the price, right? You have to be at the mercy of someone else. And so, it looks great on hindsight. It looks great on charts, right? The market moves like that. This looks great on the chart. But trust me, you're not going to make money on this. That's just the reality of it, right? You get lucky and make money, maybe. But you cannot consistently make money from this. Real traders will know this, right? So I want you to try that if you want to. So I try to avoid when it's not in regular trading sessions. It looks great on hindsight. Trust me, it really does. But no. You get more cons than pros. Thank you for tuning in, guys. Yeah. Okay, I think, let's see, let me just catch up on the messages just one last time. Don't worry about the news, right? Someone talked about the news. Use liquidity. News has to move. The thing about news is that you look at news as a 2D lens, right? You look at news as a one-dimensional lens. News is not just the news itself, right? It's also the timing. Many people don't see the timing of the news. Sometimes the news is already priced in. And that's why you have very common saying of buying the rumor and selling the news, right? Sometimes the news is not even. So how do you know whether it's the news or the rumor? You don't know that, right? So you don't know the timing of the news. You can never time the news. So don't look at news as one-dimensional, as just the news that's being released. You need to know the timing. Has the market already priced that in? Is it the different expectations? What is the sentiment of the news? Too much to worry about. Too much that you don't know and you cannot control. So you look at structure. You trade as structure demands, because the market has to move by liquidity. And you see that happening, right? I've shown you a splendid example just this week. I told you about the 20-day moving average, remember, right? We saw that liquidity happen beautifully. I told you that for a couple of days. This is the market building liquidity for that news. And when the news landed, bam! Market already prepared for that, because the market has to move by liquidity. You understand that, right? So don't bother about the news. Truly, your life will be you'll be living a happier life too if you ignore the news of the world, because the news of the world is designed to mislead you, right? It's not designed to give you discernment. It's not designed to help you. In the past, the news have a more sacred duty of keeping you informed. Today, it's designed to keep you misinformed. It's terrible. Allegedly. I have to be very careful with what I say now. Yeah. But yeah, you get what I mean, all right? Stop looking at the news. Yeah. All right. Let this last glance. yeah, some of them I can answer you in the Discord server. So if I don't answer them now, don't worry. All right. I keep an archive of all these Q&A, so I put them in the GPT to summarize everything. So I have actually a database of the questions that were asked. So that helps me a lot because I'm preparing a database to retrieve all the content that all the questions you have asked and all the answers that I have answered, and the answers that you have answered on my behalf. So I thank you for that as well, most of you who have stepped in to help out as well. Okay, I think I'm done. Thank you for tuning in. I truly appreciate it. I will see you closer to opening bell. I will repurpose, I think, the first half of this video before the training, where we talked about the preparation for the week. I'll post them on YouTube so you can prepare for the market this week. Yeah, give me half an hour. I will keep that up. Thank you. I'm surprised I can last that long, but I think once I end this stream, I'm going to crash. But thank you for tuning in. I truly appreciate it. Yeah, I'll see you closer to opening bell.